share, you know what I mean? So I would say that that shows some true dedication right there, you know what I mean? Um, I already told y'all I got a newborn, so y'all got to bear with me. But for the most part, you know, we are going to bring up our presenter for the evening, our keynote speaker, who I'm just so honored and privileged to, you know, bring on because he's my mentor, right? And he's just somebody that I look up to and that has helped me out tremendously. So I have the honor of introducing our speaker, our presenter of the evening. He is a Navy vet, former airline professional. He is a leader who decided he was called for more, right, than to just be a number in somebody else's system. Drop a one in the chat if you know that you are more than just a number in someone else's system. Because I know me, I got tired of making other people money and making other companies money, right? That should be going to us, right? So he's someone who truly leads from the front, right? He leads with purpose, he leads with integrity, and he leads with a heart for the people. And if you know him, you know that these are all true things, all true statements, which is why so many people are drawn to learning from him. Like I said, he's my mentor. He has taught me so much in such a very short period of time. So, in this movement, though, in this business that we're going to be talking about, his leadership, his consistency is speak for themselves. Okay. So, he was actually the 2025 President's Club inductee. Okay, y'all, let's listen to these accolades real quick. He was the 2023 Servant Leader Koru Award recipient. Okay, clock that. And he was a 2024 Decade Award recipient, y'all. So these are recognitions that were earned, okay, not by hype, but by results and by true service to the people. He knows this information inside and out, front and back, and he's built his success by helping others win, okay, not by cutting corners. So, what I respect most about this king, about my mentor, is that he makes this business simple, he makes this business fun and impactful. He genuinely loves helping people improve their financial lives, and the income he's earned is simply a byproduct of the service that he provides. If you're ready to learn from someone who's walked the path, stayed consistent, and truly cares about the people, you are in the right place right now, y'all. So drop some fire emojis right now in the chat. Okay, let me see them fire emojis. Light it up, light it up. Let's go. And let's welcome my mentor, my coach, Jamal Flono. You there, coach?
I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, King.
Okay. Oh man, look. First and foremost, I want to give it back up to Shayla, man. You're talking about somebody who just dropped a baby, right? And she's over here, I know the excitement she wants to be up here yelling and screaming, but she said the baby sleep right next to her. But she's always out here leading from the front, serving her community. Like she's known for serving her community. So I want y'all to drop some crowns in the chat for Queen Shayla Holmes, y'all. Drop some crowns in the chat. I know y'all take a second for y'all to find that. But drop some crowns in the chat for her, y'all. And I truly appreciate you, Queen. But hey, how y'all feeling tonight, man? We feed off energy. We definitely feed off energy. So, make sure y'all always using that chat button, right? I want to make sure everybody is typing to everyone and not just hosting panelists. Make sure that, it's not, hit the little blue little button thing, little drop down bar and change it to everyone because I see a lot of y'all typing the hosting panelists still. And Either way, we're gonna get right into this information because, like I said, I don't want to hold y'all too long, man. Y'all got a lot going on. It's a Thursday evening. You could be out doing anything. Like I want to be clear though. My goal is not to make you an expert on this movement tonight. My goal is just to give you enough information to make an informed decision on y'all. Does that sound fair, everybody? Is that fair? Okay. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about me real quick, and then I'll get right into the information. All right. So look, my name is Jamal Flono. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I remember, it's funny because it's a picture of an airplane, behind us, right? I remember there was one time, man. I was working at the airport if I got involved in this whole movement, And I remember this one time, you talking about 90, 100 degrees outside. You can see the steam come off the tarmac. I was loading an airplane. We talking about 60 and 70-pound bags lifting over my chest. I had sweat running down my face. It was burning my eyes. I smelled like must, right? And the guy was helping me load the plane, was throwing the bags on the belt loader, and the bags were going so fast you could actually hear the belt loader screaming, right? And I look out the plane, I see one of my coworkers. He's almost 70 years old, still working on the ramp at almost 70 years old, y'all. He had a stroke right in front of me. I'm about to go help him. I see my manager has a button-up shirt on, some hard bottom shoes, starts walking towards our direction. He starts, going a little bit faster. He starts running full speed. He starts running full speed. And he runs right past us and starts grabbing bags. He's like, Jamal, I need you to finish loading this airplane. I'm like, finish loading the airplane? This man's sitting here about to die. And they were talking about loading the airplane. At that moment, I felt kind of small. I felt unappreciated. Anybody who felt like that at work? Say me. If you ever felt small and unappreciated at work, say me in the comment section. For me, y'all, look, enough was enough. I reached out to a guy I was following on social media. This guy was extremely successful. Time I never had a job in his life, right? I reached out to him. I said, look, man, I'm willing to do anything to change my life. I'm talking about anything. And he showed me this, right? I said, look, man, I'm willing to do anything to change my life. Except for this, right? Because look, I had tried some things before and had lost some money. I didn't want to go down that path again. He said, look, Jamal, it's only two reasons why you weren't successful. I said, okay. I was like, what's number one? He said, you had the wrong coach. He said, if you knew everything you need to know to have what you wanted to have, you would already be living the life of your dreams. I said, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense, right? Right? So somebody say wrong coach. Somebody say wrong coach in the chat. I said, okay, that makes sense. I said, what's number two then? He said, you had the wrong information. He said, God don't love the CEO more than God loves the janitor. It's just the CEO is using better information. I said, ooh, that makes sense. So look, I reluctantly got started, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't have the money. I actually overdrafted my account to get started. I ain't gonna say you should do that, but it worked for me, right? But I'm so glad I did. My first week, I made an extra $500. The second week, I hit the second level residual, and 7 months later, I was able to leave that job. So yeah, I'm blessed and fortunate to get paid every week for the last decade or so, right? I'm blessed and fortunate to see my credit score go up a couple hundred points a couple of times. I'm blessed and fortunate to travel more now than when I worked at the airline and flew for free. But what I'm more excited about is putting people who look just like you and me in a position to win, right? If you came here because you want to be, if you came here because you expect to win tonight, type winner in the chat. If you came here because you expect to win tonight, if you came here because you want to improve your credit, type me in the chat, right? If you came here because you want to make some extra money, type me in the chat right now. Yeah. If you ain't gonna, say you want to do any of that, don't just still type me anyway, right? But let's get right into it, man. Let's talk about what we got. This movement right here, y'all. This movement is, like I said, it changed my life. I know it could change yours too. Because look, it's a digital shift right now. People are always talking about AI. And some people need to learn how to leverage AI. This is a whole digital economy. We're talking about no inventory. We're talking about no shipping, no overhead, just results, commissions, and real impact in the community. Like the whole mission is to close the wealth gap by closing the ownership gap. And we're talking about home ownership. We're also talking about business ownership. Somebody type ownership in the chat, right? That's our whole mission is ownership. So let's get it, man. Like this is my mentor, right? I talked about a little bit in the story, right? Shelly I was her mentor. I'm blessed to be in that position, right? But I'm gonna show you my mentor. This guy who when I met him, he was just coming out of homelessness, right? But check this out. Now he's the CMO of this amazing movement, right? He's the number one recruiter in our company's history. He was featured on TED Talks. I don't know if y'all ever seen a TED Talk, but so many people have had TED Talks, y'all. Like, in anyone, you can't just be anybody have a TED Talk, right? It takes a certain type of person. He's mentored by the world famous Les Brown, a legend, right? Featuring a who's who in Black America. He's someone that featured with billionaires, y'all. Talking about someone with lifetime achievement awards, and led us to the Inc. 5000 list for the fastest growing countries in America for the last 5 years in a row, ever since he became a CMO, right? People don't understand what the Inc. 5000 list is. That means out of 7.7 million businesses in America, we're in the top 0.01%. Someone drop that number in the chat. Top 0.01% of fastest growing businesses in America. That's a certain. Sometimes you gotta be in proximity to be taken to the top of the mountain, y'all. Somebody type 0.01 in the chat. We're in the top 0.01. That's very rare air, right? It's very rare air. Yeah, Tawanda. Yeah. Nisha, yeah. Joyce is on talking about top 0.01%. But look, this whole movement is 100% digital business, right? We're talking about personal credit services or business credit services or digital funding platforms for personal and debt resolution. We're talking about tax prep and software and coaching. We're talking about starting your own credit and money business. We're like an Amazon for financial services. Yeah. But let's get to some of the nitty gritty. Because, we know it's a problem in America. We know it's been traditionally, it's been a gap. A lot of times it was just because of race where we didn't have access. Well, that's not the issue anymore. It's not about the color of your skin anymore. Sometimes just by having the right situation. But it's still a gap though, right? So we're talking about, the average credit score by race. Let's talk about, the Black Americans in America. The average credit score is 627. Hispanic Americans is 651. That's the average credit score. For, our less melanated brothers, it's 734 is the average credit score. Only 1 in 5 Black Americans have a prime or subprime credit score. That means they have a credit score of at least 700. 26% of Black adults are considered credit invisible. That means these lenders don't even see you, guys. That's a scary place to be when, we get told things like, cash is king. Well, right here, we like to say credit is queen. And what's a king without a queen? You dig? Right? And, that's just, that's a metaphor for do you understand, right? Let me be clear, right? But look, we're here to change that, y'all. We're here to change that. Somebody said we are here to change that. Because this is the thing, man, because whether your situation is, you just want to pay for it one time, right? And get mentorship through the process, or you might be on the less liquid side, and now, you need to make a couple of payments. Either way, we got you. The whole point is not to get you further in debt. The whole point of this movement is to give you the access you need to no longer be credit invisible, y'all. But look, we got real results. We ain't just talking about it. We got real results. Check these out. Man, yeah, people are getting results all over the country. As a matter of fact, check out my mentor real quick.
I didn't even know I had a ticket until I saw my credit report. So started with round 1, round 2, now we at round 3. I'm up 204. I am up 204 on this one, and then on the last one, I'm up 210. You gotta love it. My Nove disputes.
Yeah, man, because look, around here, we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk, right? We ain't just talking about it, we walking it too. Real people, real results, and we got thousands of testimonies just like this, and yours could be next. Somebody say, I'm next in the comment section. Say, I'm next in the comment section. Look, there's some people on here that's already there. I see King Earl Fambro, him and his wife be competing to have higher credit scores. And, I think he got like a 780. And he's still trying to catch up with his wife, right? And we're talking that's somebody who was a lifetime renter before he found no vape. Yeah, I'm next. I see you, Nisha. I see you, Audrey. Yeah, yeah. So I see you. I know you next. Let's get it, y'all. Let's get it. But it's another side of it too, because a lot of people don't understand that your businesses have their own credit scores. It's just with their EIN. You know that 46% of small businesses use their personal credit card to grow their business and have success. Man, so let me tell y'all something about that. A lot of people don't understand that when you use your personal credit card, when you go over that 10, 15, 20%, you start getting to, the 50 and the 60, what you lose is access to capital. Man, actually, one of my mentees, man, she was saying how when she got started with this business, right? She was saying that she just started her real estate business too. And what she did was she used her credit card. She swiped, for all her real estate stuff. Then they started denying her. Because why is that? On the personal side, you have something called utilization. On the business side, it don't work that way. On the business side, only thing lenders care about is that you're making the payments on time. So on the personal side, yeah, you got to stay under. They say stay under 30%, but really you got to stay under 10% to keep having more money, more access to capital, right? On the business side, they give you $100,000. They want you to use that whole $100,000 because you got a business on it. It's called working capital, right? I love the fact that we're able to, not only help you with your personal credit, not only able to help you maximize your business to receive the most amount of funding that you can get, right? And that comes with mentorship. It's not the person that invited you on here either. It's someone who specializes in your business and helping you get funding. And then it comes with a $50,000 funding guarantee. It says if you don't get a minimum of $50,000 in funding, you get your money back. All right, look, let me ask y'all a question. Would you rather have a business with $50,000 in funding or a business with you paying money out of your pocket? Which one would you choose? Just like 50K or zero. Type in the comment chat. Which one would make more sense to grow in a business? 50K or zero? Yeah. Okay, Tawana said 50K me, please. Joyce said 50K. Yeah. Because look, one of my mentors told me that look, the only difference between a successful business and a business that's not successful is business funding. It's business credit. Yeah. But let's get it, man. We got real people, real results with that too. These people, look, and it's just a few, y'all. Like when I say we got so many testimonies that it wouldn't be fair to just overload this screen. But we're talking about, like I said, I know we talking about a minimum of 50K, but most of our clients see 100, 200, $300,000 in funding. But we guarantee you 50K, right? I want you to understand, while these services, all you're doing is referring people. You're not the ones doing all the heavy lifting. Well, I'm gonna get into that in just a minute, y'all. It's my favorite time of the year. It's tax season. I know some people wake up and like, oh man, it's tax season. Like I was talking to one of my brothers today, man. He was like, man, I make so much money. My taxes be so complicated. So he's not as excited about tax season as a lot of us, right? But I think, I think right here, we're excited about tax season, not because, we're looking forward to tax refunds. We're excited about tax season because we're looking forward to help other people get tax refunds. Because look, you can benefit from tax season in a couple of ways, y'all. The first way, you can get paid from taxes without having to learning how to do taxes. And there's people that prefer to refer, right? So look, man. I was blessed to touch a lot of good money last year. I ain't gonna start no trouble because it is tax season. The IRS is watching, right? I was blessed to touch a decent amount of money last year, right? And it started springboarded from taxes. And I don't know a thing about taxes, y'all. What I know how to do is point me in the right direction. Well, I mean, I'm gonna give y'all the game plan right now. How many people want to hear the game plan of how you can make extra 5, 10, 15, 20, $100,000 on the next 3 months? Say me. If you want to know the game plan on how to make extra 5, 10, 15, 20, $100,000 over the next 3 months, say me in the comment section. If y'all don't want it, I ain't gonna tell y'all. Don't even worry about it. Don't even true. Okay, Shayla said me. Deidre said me. Eric said me. You type in hosts and panelists, but we with you. Wade said, nah, me. Okay. I'm gonna give y'all a game. It's very simple. This is exactly what I do every single day. I just wake up and do the same thing every single day. It's very simple. I'll just go right down my friends list on Facebook, or right down my followers list on TikTok or Instagram, and I say, hey, quick question: who's doing your taxes this year? And they're gonna apply. They're gonna say my mom. They're gonna say H&R Block. They're gonna say TurboTax. I don't care. They're gonna say Little Reggie that fried chicken and do taxes in the back. I don't care who they say, y'all. What I say is, cool. We'll be okay if my team does. We'll be okay. It'll be okay if we do a free consultation with my team. If you don't like what you get, you ain't got to file. But if you do, you know, we'll give you a free 3-day, 2-night vacation. Not to mention, we got $7,500 advance that you may qualify for. Did I mention the consultation is free? Nine times out of ten, they're gonna say, let's do it. 9 times out of 10 after that, they're gonna file. And just like that, you getting paid over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you're splitting it. You're splitting the prep fee with our partner company Tax Remedy. Drop some fire in the chat for that. For group economics. Drop some fire in the chat for group economics. And Edith, I got you. As soon as you get started, Queen, I got you. Don't even worry about it. Yeah. But we know some people that are in taxes, that already do tax. Guess what? We have our own software that allows people to become service bureaus, which I love. If not Texas, you don't know what that means. It's okay. Just know it's a big deal. But for people that are have these tax businesses, they use other software. What they don't have is a way to make income more than seasonal. This gives you the opportunity to make more than seasonal income, y'all. Both come with continued mentor and coaching, right? But let's get it, y'all. Let's keep going, man. Let's keep going. So just to be clear, high value equals high commissions. You're talking about credit services that actually work. We're talking about business credit that gives funding. We're talking about personal loans with instant decisioning. We're talking about tax and legal tools without law firm pricing and so much more. So people that have good credit, guess what? There's other options for you to help people and get paid. For people that already get business funding, there's other options for you to get paid, right? Because look, we know it's 8 different income streams, as Shayla talked about earlier. When my mentor said, the average millionaire has about 7 income streams, and they all kind of look like this. I'm gonna show you how to get some of these. I'm not gonna go through all of it. You got earned income, you got residual income, we got capital gains, royalty income, we got all kind of cool stuff. But let's talk about some of the income we get, y'all. Let's talk money. You can make money multiple ways. We're talking about team overrides, that's leveraged income, or ranked bonuses, or passive residual, right? A bonus for customer gathering. We got fast start. And there's so many more ways to get paid. But which one of these would you want to get some of? Drop one of the numbers. Which one of these would make sense for y'all? If you were trying to make some extra money, which one of these makes sense for y'all? Drop one of those numbers in the chat. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Which one makes sense for y'all? Deidre said all of them. I can respect that. Tawanda said 3. She loves that passive residual. Yeah. I love me some good passive residual too. We call that beach money, where you can wake up and go to the beach every day. Right? You heard her say she like that number 3 as well. Yeah. I love me some good leveraged income too. Right? Because all we're doing, y'all, we're just referral agents. All we do is refer people to all the services that we have, y'all. That's all we do. We refer people. Look, you refer people to things all the time. You refer people to Fashion Nova all the time, or to Sheen all the time, or to your favorite hairstyles all the time, or to your favorite restaurant all the time, or to your favorite book all the time, or to your favorite church all the time, and not the one Drewski was talking about. You hear me? All right? Imagine you refer people to something like this, where you can be a blessing and be blessed at the same time. Somebody say amen in the comment section. Where you could be a blessing and be blessed at the same time. Somebody say amen in the comment section. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Right? Because look, you get real mentorship here too. We're talking about proven success strategies, accountability and support, personal and professional growth, and somebody say faster results. My mentor always told me that a real mentor is a cheat code. right? He told me that yeah, you can go around here bumping your head against the wall, or you can lean onto a mentor who's already bumped their head and tell you where to look, what to look out for. Yeah, but let me check this out, man. Who needs this? This for who does this Wi-Fi business serve best? We serve people who are online coaches or content creators, right? They're cutting the pay on content creators. I've been seeing all the time, right? 9 to 5ers who want more freedom. Somebody say freedom in the chat. Parents that's working from home already. Entrepreneurs, the realtors, real estate professionals, car sales agents, tax professionals, assurance agents, gig workers. Look, man, with AI coming around, y'all, it's gonna make a lot of stuff kind of disappear. It's for anyone who wants residual or cell phone income. Somebody say, residual me, please. Right? Somebody say residual me, please. Yeah, but who isn't this for? I think that's a big important question too. Who isn't this for? Anyone that's way to be motivated or disciplined, instead of being disciplined, right? Those who are willing to learn basic financial literacy, man. Look, you'll be surprised. People love being broke, so they can try to make somebody feel bad about them being broke. Right? Anyone who's allergic to personal responsibility, those who think only, that's the key word. Somebody say only in the chat. Those who think that only one income source is all that's necessary, right? It's safe. For those who believe financial security comes from employers and not skills, right? Somebody say, that's not me. Someone say, that's not me. Yeah, that's not me. Right? This is a digital products, it's like a digital products franchise. That's right, Tawanda. I know it's not you. It's like a digital products franchise, because what's a franchise? It's a turnkey business model. Everything's already set up for you, right? The systems, the pricing, the branding are all established. You step in as the owner, operator, and serve your clients. Kind of like a Subway, Subway is a $15,000 startup cost, amongst other things, right? The 15 is the basic. You still got it costs about 65, 70,000 to get started. But they have proven success, right? So Novate's very similar. It's low startup costs compared to traditional franchises, though, right? There's no need to create your own products or system pricing. All this built in. You got built-in support, training, and marketing. You just bring your own character and value, and we got you. So I want you to ask yourself, do I have a passion for financial literacy or creating income or making an impact in my community? Do I see the value of having my own franchise brand that I can run from anywhere? Do I want to be what the kids call the credit and money plug, right? That means the middleman, right? The credit and money plug. That means the middleman. So let's talk about this Subway example real quick. We'll get up out of here, y'all. The average income annually after expenses, they only make about $65,000 to $90,000 at Subway a year. They gotta pay $15,000 every year to make $65,000 to $90,000. Some people do that with jobs. Guess what? Some of us on this line right now are gonna make that in the next 3 months. Say I'm ready. If you're gonna make it in the next 3 months, say I'm ready. What if you can earn the same or more for a fraction of the price? Yeah, Eric say you're ready. Tawanda says she's ready. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Look at some of these numbers, y'all. We talking about 65 and 9,000 after paying 15,000. Look at some of these numbers, man. Look at some of these residuals. Residual means you do something once, get paid for it over and over and over again. Well, I know about this, man. We go up to $110,000 per month in residual. $110,000 a month in residual, y'all. Yeah, we give out, rings. Somebody go get my ring next month. I got one for I got my wife got me one in October. I got her one as well, right? They'll be able to pay for a couple of cars, a couple of nice homes. Yeah. You know, I love the fact that it's so many people that's already getting those free car bonuses. Because this is my thought process, y'all. If you want to drive a nice car, why not have Nova pay for it? You know, like Miss Jasmine Baker or Miss Alexis Carter, Miss Meek Mill or Miss Kanisha Monet or that young handsome brother in the bottom right there with the bald head, right? Yeah, like myself, I'm blessed because I already I'm already touching it. Or like King Joker, he's at level 3. I think that means he gets how much? Let's see. I go back real quick. Let's see how much he get on level 3 car bonus. Level 3, he gets $3,000 a month. I'm sorry. He's at $1,500 a month in car bonuses just for his cars. Yeah, he went and got a drop top classic car. I think he went and got one, right? Look, if you want to have nice cars and nice homes, why not have the movement pay for it anyway? Right? I love the fact you can enroll just 5 customers. Now you got a free business. Right? I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I'm gonna be very transparent. When I got started, I heard a lot of people saying, "How do I get free?" Right? How do I get free? And I mean, I think that's cool. Getting free is cool, right? But me, I said, look, man, I want to make some money. How I make some money? Right? Somebody say, how do I make some money? If free is cool, but somebody say, how can I make some money? If you want to make some money, if you don't make no money, that's cool too. I ain't gonna hold you. You might not want to make no money, but me, I was like, man, how do I make some money? Yeah. So we got a 30-day game plan, and it's just a quick start. It's just quick start stuff, y'all. It's just quick start stuff. I ain't saying $2,115 is enough for you to quit your job, but if you seen 28.15 on the ground, would you pick it up? Right. You can pay a couple of bills, couple times with 28.15. A lot of people ain't making that already. I'm sure I do in the first 30 days on a couple of small tasks. It's a simple, focused 30-day strategy designed to help new partners generate up to 28.15 that first month. And low key, y'all, we should get actually even more than that. But that's a good start, y'all. 30-day of focus, real momentum. The execution changes everything. Somebody say I'm ready. If you ready to make 2026 the best year financial you ever had, yeah, Eric, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, George. Yeah, Tawanda. Yeah, Deidre, that's what I'm talking about. So look, let's get right into it, man. It's only a couple ways to get started, because I know you're ready to get started. Let's be real. I always tell people to go ahead and go pro. Somebody say go pro in the comment section. Somebody say go pro in the comment section. Yeah. So on 349 to get started, y'all. And the reason why I always say we go pro, because look, if you need to improve your credit anyway, why not get paid during the process? It's very simple. If you need to improve your credit anyway, why not get paid during the process? And this is the thing too, y'all, because I know some of y'all make a lot of money. What I love about this home-based business is you get certain tax benefits. You get the same tax benefits as a Fortune 500 company gets. All because you decided to start a Wi-Fi business. It's real simple, y'all. You can look. Guess what? If you don't got the 349 code, we can help you get started on the direct sale package. It's $199 to get started. There's no residual, no team building, anything like that. You can't qualify for a lot of the bonuses, but guess what? At least you got your foot in the door. We're trying to make some money and be upgraded to going pro. So that's it, y'all. I'm done. I'm gonna say welcome to the family. Look, it's a real family. Check out these pictures, y'all. This is us. It's us kicking it. You see how Rome seems keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And guess what? This year's gonna get even bigger, y'all. So I'm excited for y'all. Let's get this thing started. Go ahead and start texting your teammate. Text the person who invited you out. Let them know if you're ready. Let them know you're ready to get started. Right? Let them know you're ready to get started, y'all. We ain't gonna hold you. We gonna stay on the line. Why you say you ready, y'all? And I'm gonna go through a quick start with the people who's ready to get started, and we gonna win together, y'all. So, I'm gonna let's get this thing started. I'm excited to work with y'all. I'm telling y'all right now, man, this thing changed my whole entire life. I remember when I first got started, man. I'm gonna leave you with this story. I remember when I first got started, man. Like I said, I left my job in about the first 7 months. I did. First 7 months, left my job, and I was blessed because I had the right mentorship. Right, I was blessed. I had the right mentorship, and I went to the first yacht party. We had a time, right? All white yacht party, like on the bottom of the screen right here, y'all. Like the all white. Let me show y'all. Like you see everybody right there on the bottom right, with it all white right there. That's a white yacht party. We went on these yachts, and we had a time. And next year we had another yacht party coming up, but my brother asked me to be in his wedding. I said, okay, yeah, I'm in your wedding. My big brother. I love you, big dog. Let's do it. We had a time. We partied. At the wedding, had a good time. Fast forward, to my brother had went to the doctor that morning of his wedding. Right, went to the doctor. He had been coughing a little bit. He was like, "No, I'm going to get married." You know, Fast forward about 2 months. I ain't really seen my brother. He went on his honeymoon and stuff like that. I ain't really seen my brother. I saw him 2 months later. He had lost some weight, and he was like, "Man, I got diagnosed with cancer, with stage 4 cancer." I was like, "Man," he was like, "Nah, we're gonna beat it. We ain't tripping. We gonna beat that." Yeah, what I'm saying. My brother's a winner. My brother talking about a beautiful wife. All his kids are successful and straight A students and athletes and all kind of He's like, man, all we do is win. He's like, man, we're gonna beat this. Fast forward another month, my brother lost 70 or 80 pounds. He can no longer walk up the steps in his house. He had to move a medical bed in the living room. And during this time period, my sister-in-law, she had to go to work every day, so she's gonna be there to take care of my brother. Um, my mom's, she worked at the hospital, and she would be at work all the time too. My niece was going to college. My dad worked on the railroad. My dad actually uh, uh, had to go get surgery on his hand, so he took some time off, be there for my brother during this time period. My brother lost his voice and everything. He can't even speak anymore. He got so weak, and it was so fast. And during this time period, man, my big brother, you know, uh, I had just started getting real close with him. He's someone who will always bleed in his movement. But whenever I was at work, y'all, I was able to spend a lot more time with my brother, right? Like, I would go to the grocery store for him and buy him snacks he wasn't supposed to eat. I would, take him to different appointments. And fast forward a few more months, my brother lost his battle with cancer. And, it happened so fast. So during that time period, like I said, my mom was at work, my dad was at work, his wife was at work. I was able to spend more time with my brother because I said yes to this movement. You know, um, I know just a few years earlier, I would have been in work too. So this is the thing, man. When you say no, nothing changes. When you say yes, everything has a possibility to change. You know, I could have lost. I didn't. Because I say yes to this movement, I got paid every single week from work I wasn't even doing at the time. I was so busy. You know, take care of my brother, take care of my family. I was getting paid every single week, all because I said yes. I know some people lose their homes, lose their cars, lose their jobs when someone gets sick. Because it may be your mom, it may be your father, it may be your brother, maybe your sister. God forbid, be one of your kids. Telling y'all right now, take this thing serious, and your whole life could change forever. So that's my time, y'all. Get back with the person who invited you out. Let them know that, look, I'm trying to have some insurance for my life. I'm trying to have a business that can give me passive income so I ain't got to do no work. When it's times that I don't need to do any work. All right. With that being said, y'all, make sure you do something today that your future you will be proud of. And look, go be great on purpose.